Mark Duda joining us from Lackawanna College Falcons here on the John Mendola Show at Arcaro and Janelle in the pizza capital of the world. And Coach, you guys have a game coming up this weekend. We'll get to that. But first, let's go back a couple of weeks. DuPage, you guys went on the road. You fell to them, pretty darn good team. And let's talk about some of the growing experiences from DuPage.
You know, it was interesting. You know, a lot of our young guys hadn't really got to that point. We were that's about a 14-hour trip. Got there, was cold, all those things that are excuses for sure, and we kind of took all of them, and it didn't really play well. It's the first time we haven't played well in about 3 years, in my estimation. And we've lost some games over the years, but it's the first time we played really not well.
Overall, you guys got to lick your wounds and come back, so talk a little bit about how the guys seemed like they responded, much like when you had a loss early in the season, you guys had to respond as well.
Oh, yeah. You know, the nice part was we had a bye week right after it, so we got to kind of get ourselves in a situation where we got a little more healthy, and you get to a certain point in the year where they come in August 1st. I think they get tired of us and we get tired of them to a certain degree. And then they came back and practiced their tails off this week and are really looking really good. So I think we'll put ourselves in the best frame of mind, and sometimes you just need a little bit of a break.
All right, upcoming opponent is Georgia Military at Marshall. Great atmosphere. Take us through the whole tradition and how many years you guys are going at it, you and your other coach.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You know, we played Georgia Military first time in like 1993, and they were a powerhouse, and we were just beginning. And we went back and forth. We've been playing them for a long time. Now, they've been nationally ranked year after year, do a great job with their guys. And now we decided to play them in the middle at Marshall. So we go to Marshall University. We go 7 hours and 50 minutes. They go about 8 hours, and we meet in the middle and play them at the end of the year. So it's fantastic for us, and two really good programs, and it's been great all the time.
And a lot of coaches able to get there. It's a Sunday affair, so get some college coaches there. Sometimes this game's a big decision maker.
It really is. You know, it's a way for Marshall to have their staff watch the ball game, which they do to a point, and then everybody else comes in and watches it as well. So it puts us right before recruiting season really ramps up, and they get to play against a good opponent. It's a great opportunity for our guys.
Let's talk about the scouting report on Georgia Military this year as far as what they do. Are they just doing the same things they've always done?
Yeah, pretty similar. No, great running football team. Run the ball against everybody and make you pay that way. They're a three-man line defense. They slant and stun around a little bit. Have a lot of superior athletes on the team. So it'll be a really well-balanced kind of situation. To give you an example, they played ASA and lost, won in overtime, 38-39 in 2 overtimes. And the ASA beat us 21-14. So very similar programs, and we look forward to it every year.
Talk about your coaching staff and being on the same page. And we're going to talk to some of your younger coaches here that have done a nice job over the years with the program. But talk about what they're preparing for this week as well, and both sides of the football, and you guys scouting and having a little extra time to scout.
The extra time's been fantastic for us. We get to kind of slow down a little bit and look at ourselves as well as them. These two guys, Coach Reese, our defensive coordinator, and Coach Pardini, our offensive coordinator, have done a great job again this year kind of getting people ready. But we do need time sometimes. Sometimes it gets so fast that you don't enjoy the win. You just kind of flip, and the season's over. So we realize we've been doing this since August 1st, and these guys have done a great job preparing our football team, and I think it'll be a great success.
Let's talk about the things you feel like you're going to need to do on your end. A couple keys to the game that the Falcons will need to do to win the game Sunday.
You know, I think this one's really, really simple. Okay, if we can stop the run and run the football, we win. If they can run the football and stop the run, they win. Because passing games are passing games, but you know that ball control situation isn't sexy, but boy, it does win a lot of ball games. And so for us, it's a matter of containing those people and running the football long enough to keep the ball alive.
Big stadium, you guys will be playing in, so these guys get a little feel of that. Obviously, you know that's a good flair for them to say, you know, hey, this is what the big time is going to look like, because a lot of these guys are going to move on to that next level.
It's wonderful for them. You know, they get to go play in a big time stadium in a big time ball game, and that's at the end of the year. You know, so I think it hits some of our sophomores today. They were coming off the field saying, that's the last time we're going to do this particular drill. So now they're starting to realize, you know, that Lackawanna is going to end very shortly for them in graduation and move on. So I think it's kind of a significant week for them.
Mark Duda, always great catching up with you. We wish you the best this weekend against Georgia Military.
Thank you, John.
Josh Pardini joining us from Lackawanna College Falcons, the offensive coordinator. And Josh, let's talk about some of the highlights through the year of guys offensively that have stepped up. We've had a lot of guys in here at Arcaro and Janelle to talk about the things they were doing with their teammates to have success and hopefully take their game to the next level. How about some guys on your end that they're top of mind?
I think a kid like Taj McDaniel, who's been with us here for now 5 semesters, is our starting left guard, really came to his own this fall, had an unbelievable season for us, far and away the best offensive lineman game in and game out. And you see in the results from it, he's being highly recruited now. He's been in talks with Albany and Indiana State, UConn, places like that. So he's a kid that comes to mind. Juwan Green has had an unbelievable season for us, another guy that we've seen here in the kickoff return game, the punt return game, the leading receiver on the football team. Juwan's only been playing football for 3 years now, and he's a coachable kid, and he wants to be as great as he can, and he just picked up his first Division I offer from UNC Charlotte. So, you'd like to win them all, and being 6-2, it's not really where you want to be, but getting our guys out is what's really most important to us, and they have those opportunities now.
So many guys at the receiver position. I think I interviewed 4 or 5 guys this year that could do a little bit of everything, and they all said, well, this guy's a little faster, I'm a little quicker. This guy's a good route runner, but I can catch a little bit better. But combined, it becomes a little dangerous, as well as with a couple of running backs that could do some damage there too.
Oh, absolutely. I think we had a whole bunch of weapons this year on offense. We got bit by the injury bug midway through the season, and that happens to everybody. Some injuries at the running back spot and wide receiver spot. But overall, I thought those guys had an unbelievable year. Joel Shaw and Eric Finney in the backfield. Juwan Green, like we just talked about, Navon Prince, Kyron Best out wide. All 3 of those guys have over 25 catches on the year and have been the player of the week for us at one point or another, including Rasheed Millette. So great receiver play all year, and they're awesome kids. Sometimes you get some great players who kind of get on your nerves, but you love going out and practicing with those guys every day because they give it their all and they want to be the best they can.
I get to see you guys, luckily, throughout the year. I see you in February, I saw you at a coaching clinic, saw you over the summer at a couple of camps that you volunteered your time for. Got to see you during training camp in August, and I've seen you here in the fall season. But ultimately, the season flies by. Talk about soaking up one more experience with these guys, one more big weekend, one more long travel game with guys that you hope you've made an influence on for the rest of their lives.
I think as a staff, we took a different approach coming into this week. Somewhere along the lines of this season, we've been working with these guys now for 12 weeks. We made this a business and a job, and we kind of lost sight of the reason these guys started playing football when they're 6, 7 years old. So we came in with an ultra positive attitude this week, and we wanted to have fun at practice. We had some offensive linemen playing running backs, some running backs playing offensive line, receivers playing quarterback. And we've seen the last 2 days, we have 2 great practices, and the guys really enjoyed getting out and playing. So getting back to that was really important for us. And as a coaching staff, we hope that we touch their lives in some way or another, whether it be on the field, in the classroom, socially, however that may be. But I think we've done that. We have a great group of kids. We're involved in the community. They're doing a great job in the classroom with a 3-2 at midterm. So really good stuff going on.
Sure, with Coach Duda, with all the experiences he's had in his life, some things are black and white, they're non-negotiable.
Yep.
But nonetheless, you and guys like Coach Reese probably can tweak them a little bit, like whether it's this week or practice or whatever. Talk a little bit about that working relationship you guys have.
I think what makes us such a successful football team, to go along with our players, obviously, is that we're not a staff, we're a group of friends working together every day. We love being around each other. So much as the fact that our wives and girlfriends get a little jealous sometimes because we spend so much time with each other, but that's okay. It definitely makes it a great working environment. I have a great staff. Coach Grandy, Coach Bear, Coach Gooms, they've done a great job with us all year. Coach Sella as well, working with the offensive line. And Coach Reese feels the same about his staff, if I don't mind speaking for him. So I think that's been really big for us, and not dreading coming into work because you get to work with some guys you really enjoy.
Scouting report on Georgia military, things you guys are going to need to do to have success. Coach says it's going to be the run game, both sides. You guys are going to have to try to establish the run.
I completely agree with Coach. We kind of got away from playing Lackawanna College football the last couple of weeks in terms of running the football and getting after the passer. So we definitely have to come out and establish the run. I think our defense will come out and stop the run. We just got to get back to doing what we do, and that's pushing people off the ball. And I've preached to the offense all week. We got to hit a whole bunch of singles, and then the home runs will come. We can't expect 80 yards on a run and 90 yards on a throw every time we go out there. So let's load the bases a couple times with singles, and then we'll throw the home run shot and see what happens from there.
Josh Pardini, great catching up with you. We wish you the best. Thanks for all your time this past year. Good to see you again.
Thanks, John. Great seeing you, too. Appreciate the coverage.
Bill Reese joining us. He's the defensive coordinator of the Lackawanna College Falcons here on the Mendola Show. And Bill, obviously you guys are looking forward to this coming weekend, a big opportunity down at Marshall, but we're going to reflect back first and talk a little bit about this season. Take us through some of the guys that you felt had a pretty darn good year over on the defensive side of the ball.
You know, I thought overall our overall effort was very good on the defensive side of the ball. You know, the defensive line, it all kind of starts up there. We have three solid noses. Miles Turner does a great job for us. Mark Cheney and David Vargas, they play very well. Keith Wells rounds the edge, and Cherokee Glasgow, you know, he does some very good things. He's definitely, his game is definitely advanced over the time we've had him. You know what I mean? He came in as a big linebacker and moved him down the defensive line. You know, we have two of the conference leaders in sacks, so it's always good when you have conference leaders, you know. And we have Brian Castillo. I call him Castillo. He has 10 sacks on the season. I mean, he plays solid against the pass. And then Andre Blackett, who just came along, he had a huge game at DuPage. He had 4 sacks alone and 4.5 tackles for loss. Man, he does a great job for us. And London Cloud, he's been our tough guy. He's like our tough guy in the middle. You know what I mean? And then in the secondary, you know,
Very deep, right? I mean,
very
that's
deep,
secondary.
very deep, very deep. We might play 6 or 7 or 8 guys at, you know, in our secondary. You know, DJ Anderson, I'm extremely proud of that young man. He recently picked up an offer from University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and that's a big, huge step for him. You know, in his future, he's really played his butt off. You know, in the last 4 weeks. We have Jaquan Brisker. Jaquan Brisker, I can't speak enough good words about him. He does a very good job. You know, he comes late. He does meetings. I mean, he's just a football player. You know what I mean? And then we, you know, like I said, we have a deep secondary. So guys like Chuk and guys like Cameron Henderson, you know, they do all great, superb jobs for us.
Scouting this week against a team like Georgia Military, talk about different things you've seen on film, and I'm sure you're talking with Coach Duda because he sees things as well, and having those conversations about what it's going to take to either slow them down, if not try to stop them.
Yeah, you know, it all starts, I think, shutting down the running game. They want to come out and they want to play smash mouth football. You know, it's kind of like the old school Georgia Military of old. And then, you know, they like to throw those delta screens, you know, to their little fast number 11, and you know they're not so big on throwing the ball, but I mean they're a major run team. You know what I mean? They run the ball probably about 75% of the time, so they wanna pound it.
But keeping those guys fresh up front could be important.
Definitely.
Make sure those backers are able to make some tackles. How about as far as the whole recruiting part of things? I mean, it's a big weekend. And talk about coaches being there and doing what they do, and then you guys are going to start to get a little bit busy trying to make sure you're helping place some of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, our recruiting for our team next year doesn't start until all these guys have a home for the next year. You know, they've done a service. They've played for us for 2 years, so we owe it to them, you know, to get them out. This weekend is huge in recruiting. There'll probably be 6 or 7, you know, staffs there. So I mean, it's a huge chance to go play at a huge venue.
As far as the fun you have, we talked a little with Coach Pardini with the staff and your fun that you're having both with the players and the staff, and just you're kind of living the dream. Everybody says, "Hey, I'm living the dream." Reality is you're having a lot of fun there.
I am, you know, especially this week. You know what I mean? Because the older guys, you know, kind of came together, and you know, it's just a really light week. You know what I mean? And we all played jokes on each other, and did some really cool things. You know.
Well, great to hear your story, Bill, as always, about the job you're doing with the Lackawanna College Falcons defense. And good luck this coming weekend. I'm sure we'll talk with you again in the near future.
All right, thank you.